What we say to our own bodies is horrifying. I hear it every day from my clients.
Yeah.
And I often say, would you say that to anyone else on the planet? Of course not.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
Thank you so much for tuning back into Second Act TV. I want to thank Nina Manolson for staying over for another segment, talking about a very important topic today, and that is the relationship with our body. Nina, thank you so much for joining me again.
It's a delight and a pleasure.
Nina is a body peace coach. She's an author, speaker. She has a wonderful message that I'm so excited that we have you here on Second Act. And I'd like to, start the segment by just establishing that, yes, I think everybody you're talking to here, there's an ongoing struggle with our body that causes all sorts of issues, not only for ourselves, but for our relationships.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a few questions. So one is, when you're feeling good in your body, when you're feeling like all that, just those days, how does it impact how you interface with the world? What do you notice?
Oh, totally. I'm more outgoing. I'm more confident. I'm happy, energetic. Yeah.
Right. Who you are shows up on the outside.
Yes,
absolutely. When you wake up and have those days where you're like, ugh, I'm just not feeling it today. Right. And there's a little more sort of just self-consciousness. How does that show up in your life?
Well, it's funny that you ask, because I just kind of went through that. I'm lethargic. Mm-hmm. I'm negative. There's a depression, could be hormones. But yeah, no, I don't engage nearly as much. Yeah.
Yeah, we withdraw.
Yes.
Right. So when we're feeling truly at home in our skin, we show ourselves to the world. We give the world the gifts that we're here to give, right? When we don't feel that way, there's more of a contraction, right? So our relationship matters. The relationship that we have with our body, the relationship, how we feel in our body matters. And if you think about it, this relationship is the longest relationship of our life. We're born into this body. We will die in this body.
Good point.
It is the longest relationship. So this relationship is really worth paying attention to. So another way to think about it that's really helpful is to take it out of this idea of our relationship with our body and just think about relationships in general. So, Silke, I have another question for you. How would you describe a really great relationship, just in life? Anybody, partner, friend, dog?
Well, the words that come to mind is happy, joyful, playful. Yeah. Basically, just living life.
Yeah. So there's a playfulness. There's a joy in it. There's a pleasure in it. There's often mutual respect in there. There's often communication in there. Those are some of the factors. Trust, right? Those are the things that build a good and positive relationship. Okay. Now, what makes a relationship? Like a relationship that you're like, oh, no, that's not for me. Unfortunately, a lot of people know those relationships. But so what would you say makes a not great relationship?
Thinking of my ex-husband here. Well,
a lot of people do.
Negative, not trusting, not engaging.
Absolutely, right? There's not a lot of communication. There's a lot of judgment, blaming, shaming. There's no trust. There's that sense of connection is not there. Okay, so that's a relationship, right? So then if you take that template of what's a positive relationship and what's a painful relationship and go, what kind of relationship am I having with my body? Because we just said we're having a relationship. So now, what kind of relationship am I having with my body? Am I having that positive relationship where we're trusting, we're connected, we're communicating, I'm listening, you're talking, we're having a good time, it feels playful? Or are we having a relationship where I feel blamed, shamed, I don't want to hear what you have to say, oh my gosh, you should do this, right? Like that dysfunctional relationship. And unfortunately, and I've worked with women about their relationship with their body for 30 years, so many women go, I'm having this painful relationship with my body.
You know, you didn't say anything that's like earth shattering, yet it was for me just now. I never thought to think of it like that.
Yeah.
What an interesting way to really look at yourself. What clearly came to my mind right now, I'm always mad at my body, constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not alone, right? A lot of women are like, you've failed me, body. I can't believe, especially as we age, I can't believe. And what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about, right? Like there's this constant poking and not enoughness, and you're not doing it right. And how do we respond when someone will zoom out again to actual like relationships with other humans? How do we respond when someone treats us that way?
Well, we withdraw. We withdraw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't
We avoid, we withdraw.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not interested. I don't want to play with you, right? This is not how I want to show up. We pull back. And then we're not having the fun, right? So to go back to the beginning, if we're having a relationship with our body and the relationship with our body matters, right? How we show up in the world is impacted by how we feel.
Right.
And we can either be in a really painful relationship or we can be in a really positive relationship. Where do we want to be? Right? We want to be in that positive relationship. Unfortunately, so many people are in this painful relationship. I had a client of mine once when we were unpacking all this go, oh my gosh, I have been in an abusive relationship for 25 years with myself.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be that way. We've been trained into that relationship, right? Just like an abusive relationship with an ex or a boss. We're like, we sort of get used to it. Like, oh, is this how it goes? Oh, let me see how I can kind of like mold myself around this painful relationship. Maybe I'll try to fix myself. Maybe I'll go on another diet. Maybe I'll sign up for a marathon. Maybe I'll do something and I'll change and this relationship will get better.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. We have to do that inside work of shifting the internal conversation. How are we treating ourselves?
Mm-hmm. Everything you said makes perfect sense. In practical life, how do you get there? Where is the fine line between doing the work on the inside and being happy with what you see on the outside? You know, is it important to work on the outside as well? Does it help to get a kickstart on the outside? I mean, I know these are questions that go through my mind all the time, not just for me, but for women that I help or my friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is. And I think you have a better answer than I do anyway.
So if we're trying to fix from the outside in, right? We're dieting, we're trying to do the extreme makeover, for lack of a more finessed term. We're trying to, plastic surgery our way to youth, whatever that fix, we perceive that fix to be. But if it's coming from a place of, I am doing this to be in the cultural beauty ideal. I am doing this to convince myself that I'm okay. That journey of hustle for what Brene Brown would call that hustle for worthiness, that desire of fixing and changing will never, ever end. Because it comes from intrinsically a place of not enoughness. So that's one reason why that outside in doesn't work. Another one is that when we're in that dieting, I call it a roller coaster or the dieting cycle, the reality is 95% of people who go on diets gain their weight back in 2 to 5 years, if not more, right? So the dieting, all it does is take us towards disordered eating and weight gain. So if we're thinking, you know what, I'm going to diet my way to feeling good in this relationship, that's misguided. There actually isn't science behind it, but there is a $72 billion industry trying to sell us the next, latest, greatest diet so that we continue to make money off of us feeling bad. So neither of those help our relationship.
Yeah, and that obviously and I want to have a whole segment with you on that as well. I want to get back to the relationship then, is what can we do today, or, or start anyway, to start that inside out process and believe that it's possible? Because again, when you don't see the outside, that's why I keep bringing that up, where you don't see it. How do you help someone there?
So first of all, if you've been doing this a long time by yourself, stop doing it by yourself, right? It's like, again, go back to the relationship. You're in a dysfunctional relationship. It's hard to get yourself out. Sometimes you need support to go like, this is not working. How do we think about this differently, right? So whether it's working with a body peace coach or another coach or a therapist or somebody, but like, you know what? I don't really want the relationship the way it is. So that's one thing, is just acknowledging, I would like something to change here. So, but the next really concrete step, so when we're getting to know, right, what we're trying to do is create a relationship, right? If we've had this like kind of relationship, we're trying to create like this kind of relationship. So what's the first thing we do when we meet somebody? What was the first thing I said to you when I reached out and we talked?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Hello. Nice to meet you. Right? Hello. I would like to get to know you.
Yes.
That's how we start. Not, oh my gosh, let me judge everything about you. That's not a relationship. That's toxicity. Right? So even just to start to experiment and watch what happens when you say to yourself in the mirror, instead of, oh my gosh, I can't believe my behind, as you walk by the mirror, right? Instead, it's, oh, hello. It implies interest. It implies curiosity. It implies engagement. It implies also a little civility, which honestly, many of us are lacking in our relationship with our own body. What we say to our own bodies is horrifying. I hear it every day from my clients.
Yeah.
And I often say, would you say that to anyone else on the planet? Of course not.
Yeah.
That's not very nice. Right? So just to reach out from a place of connection. Hey, hello. There's a longer conversation, right? We want to extend. We want to learn how to have a supportive, caring, nourishing, respectful, responsive relationship with ourselves. But the first step is, hey, I see you. I want to connect with you.
Yeah. And I'm just seeing my ass going, get off of me. Yeah, I never thought about talking. But then, what answers are you looking for? How does that conversation progress?
Yeah. So in the beginning, often when you start with hello body, your body's like, really, you're actually talking to me right now instead of bossing me around. There's a lot of anger that comes up. There's also a lot of grief. Like, seriously, we spent 50 years hating each other? Ouch. Ouch. There's so much grief in that. Right? And then there's the whole other, see, that's the thing about this conversation. There's a lot of different voices, right? There's the culture's voice. Well, but you're not allowed to love yourself until you're a size X, right? So then it's like, wait a second, that's not even my voice. That's not even part of the conversation here. How did this voice become my voice? Then there's like, oh, you shouldn't eat that. Well, whose voice was that? Oh, that's my mother would say that. Oh, so there's my mom in this conversation. Wait a second. I want to actually have an authentic relationship, connection to self, right? This isn't a magic wand. This isn't 7 pounds in 7 days. There's no fairy dust in repairing relationship. Just like a romantic relationship. We don't poof, and now all the pain and suffering and the harm that we've done to each other is gone. Mm-hmm. There's repair work to regain that trust. But this, as I said in the beginning, this is a relationship that is your longest relationship. It is worth working on. It is worth putting energy into it. It is worth repairing.
Well, it gave me a lot to think about. I'm sure our viewers feel the same way. Nina, thank you. I'm going to link to all of your information. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, they can do so directly. I would love to talk with you again, more specifically about the whole diet and, eating right, whatever that means. Is there anything else that you want to add here before we sign off today?
Yeah, I want to say that working on your relationship with your body will impact every single part of your life. And it's worth your time. It's worth your energy. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel at home. You deserve to feel truly at home in your own skin.
And you bring yourself, whatever is inside, you bring that to every other relationship. And I think that's probably what we need to remember, is the relationship we have with ourselves will affect every other relationship in your life.
Every other relationship.
Great conversation. Nina, thank you. We'll see you again soon on Second Act TV.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.